it was shocking. Nobody expecting it. They were just getting ready to do the prop load was almost done, so they were getting ready to do the static fire, and looks like to me, early, but it looks like the methane tank may have ruptured initially, and then that caused the explosion.
Which, good evening, depending on where you are. It is, about 30 minutes to midnight here in Texas, and we just had some serious breaking news. So I'm going to play the video so you can see why we were so prompted to go live right now. A very, very unfortunate explosion down there, and just totally unexpected to see Ship 35 or 36 burst into flames.
Yeah, well, this was, the last test before they did final preparations for Flight 10. They had just completed a single engine static fire a couple of days ago, and it looked like it was going normally. The prop load was just about wrapping up, and then it looks like the methane tank ruptured, and then there was a subsequent fireball after that, and then it just took out quite a bit of masses, and there's still fire going now. So the tank farm, which still has methane and oxygen in it, is at risk. And masses is critical because this is where they do all their testing, and this is going to be damaged for a while. And not only that, but nearby here they had the test stand for booster 18.1, which is the test article for the next generation of booster, and that may have been destroyed as well.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So this is not just affecting, of course, Ship 36. We don't even know the extent because it's kind of still going on as we speak.
Yes, that is true. So, the immediate thing, obviously, I don't think anybody was injured because they do clear out the area. So I don't think there's injuries, but this is a major setback for the Starship program.
I was going to say, so we already have a comment saying, is this the end of Starship? Which, no, but it certainly Flight 10 is not going to be on June 29th, which is what we were both posting earlier, that, it could be as early as June 29th.
Yeah, no, it's going to be months now for sure.
I mean, holy crap.
Yeah,
everyone must be so bummed. And so for people just tuning in and seeing this crazy video, we don't know the exact cause yet.
No, we don't. It's actually ongoing right now. There is some live views of it, and the fires are still going. So the damage is not complete yet. I mean, we could still see some more of the tank farms and the infrastructure at Massey's being damaged, but yeah, no, this was definitely out of the blue. I mean, by now the static fire could have been done, and they could have been, getting ready to take it back to the production facility. It's just, I don't know. I feel horrible for the team. I can't say that this is related to all the other issues, but the V2 of the ships have not done very well.
I was going to say, you were watching this live. I happened to be watching a TV show, but you texted me what are you feeling right now? Because we know that we've had so many ups and downs just with the launches themselves.
Yeah. I feel horrible for the team that has been working super hard to try to continue to develop Starship, and there's still a lot of major milestones yet to come for them to be able to realize what Starship can do. And each time there's been some sort of an issue, whether it was on flight, now on the ground. And each seem to be a little bit different. If this one is a rupture of the methane tank, then it's yet another thing that they've got to chase down. So,
And so people are asking, for example, which I think we obviously don't know, but I've seen a couple of comments, is a sabotage.
I don't think so. I know that it's easy to kind of go to that route, and there's a lot of weird things going on in the world right now. I don't think so, but we'll have to see for sure. I think there was just a structural failure of the ship in this case.
Yeah. Wow. That is really, really unfortunate. Which, by the way, I should say thank you to NASA Spaceflight. They posted this clip, and I've just sort of slowed it down so that we have a loop of this video
Yeah.
because, well, this is the video of the hour right now. But my goodness.
Yeah. If you can stop the video, like go to the very beginning and go slow, and just before the explosion, if you stop it like one frame before that, you'll see the tank, the side of the ship buckle, and then you'll see right there. See that? Go back a little bit more.
What side are we looking at?
The right side on the top middle, and if you can just go a couple more frames, I think you'll see it looks like there's like all of a sudden a burst out of the side of the ship. And so, I mean, when you get to it, you'll see it was very sudden. There was basically no warning.
Yeah, I don't want to miss it, so I'm going slow.
There,
Okay.
right there.
Oh,
See that?
wow.
So that looks like on the side of the ship, and that's up where the methane tank would be. You can also kind of see the frost line. You can see the frost line for the oxygen tank. It's really big. And then there's like a gap, and then there's a small frost line. So they had very little methane in there, which is what you want to do to try to prevent the fire or the explosion. But it looks like it burst above the cryogenic line. And then as soon as it, burst, we got this giant fireball.
Oh my God.
And I'm just looking at some live stuff, and some of the cryogenic tanks are now on fire, so that could be yet some more explosions coming up.
Wow. And so what do you think? I mean, yeah, what are your, I mean, when do you think we'll see a Starship launch? What do you think is going to be the outcome for Massey's here? This seems like, wow.
Well, as far as, I mean, once they get everything to control and get it to a stable situation, they're going to have to go out and do an investigation and figure out, what the situation is at Massey's. I think it's going to take a while to fix Massey's because there's so much destruction. And we also talked about the test article for ship or booster 18, but they also have to figure out what's going on with the ship. There's now just 2 V2 ships left, 37, 38. They're in various stages of construction. So I think they're going to have to go back and look at those. And I think they may have to make a decision. Maybe it's time to not fly V2s anymore and move on to the next one. I don't know. I mean, it just depends on what they figure out. But as far as when we might see another flight, I'm going to say late this year. I mean, it's just, there's the logistics of fixing their testing facility, but it's also figuring out what to do with the ship and what happened.
Yeah. I see a bunch of folks posting, including Scott Manley and Marcus House and Everyday Astronaut saying, okay, we are not going to see Flight 10 soon. I mean, this just seems unexpected.
We talked about this, I think, on the last flight or the flight before. How this is impacting their future plans is, they have a lot of milestones in development that they have to do. They needed to get the ship. They needed to get it flying. They needed to get it through the reentry. They need to be able to catch it, and then the refilling and all that stuff. I just think that any plans on trying to go to Mars next year needs to be shelved, and they need to really concentrate on getting Starship to a point where they can, fly it safely. And I think the pressures of trying to do the Mars thing. There's also the Artemis program that this is affecting.
Right.
And so that's another major issue as well.
I want to, Chris just tuned in, and including other people that are joining us, saying, what happened? What are we looking at? Well, obviously, very spectacular video. This is at Massey's.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the initial sound on the clip from NASA space flight so we can all hear it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, even the other day when they... Whoa!
Whoa!
Yeah.
What? That's
no!
Yeah, massive.
Oh my God. It appears there has been a
Ship
row.
36 just blew up.
Yeah.
Ship Ship 36 just blew up, which again, you know, SpaceX just recently posted an update. They have not posted about this yet, but they did post because tonight was supposed to be the full static fire, right? They just did a single engine the other day.
Yeah, they did a single engine about 2 days ago, and this was the last. It was going to be most likely a 60-second 6-engine static fire, just to do the last of the testing before it went back to get the final preparations. And the prop load was just about finished, so they were getting close, probably within 10 minutes of trying to do the static fire, and then this happened.
Oh my God. Yeah. Glenn says, feels like they are fighting an unrealistic timeline. Ross says SpaceX are rushing with Starship. They need to focus on quality control. And Rodney, thank you for the super chat all the way from New Zealand. Whoa, shocking to see. Better on the test stand than in flight, I guess. However, you know, this is not just affecting, obviously, Ship 36. It's all the existing or, you know, nearby infrastructure as well.
Right. It's the infrastructure of Masties, what's going on with Ship 36/Flight 10, but also, as we mentioned, the test stand for the next generation of booster was there, and they were in the process of doing the testing to validate the structure of that new design. And so not only is that most likely damaged, but even the hardware for the can crusher may be damaged as well. So, you know, and that's been being built for months. So I just think, and I forget who it was, Glenn maybe was talking about unrealistic timeline. And we talked about this before, is one of the things that you might have to do in a program like this is reduce or relax some of the stress that you can control. And one of them is that timeline. So, you know, not doing Mars next year will give them breathing room to just really concentrate on the Starship program.
Well, yeah, Harkins adds, honestly, in flight would produce a lot less damage, right? I mean, obviously
Well, I understand his thought, but this happened as they were getting ready to launch, if you will. So you can imagine what this would have done on top of a booster on the launch pad.
I don't want to imagine that. I didn't really want to see this. I mean, it is, I have to say, it is spectacular video. But it's also, wow. I mean, what a rough year it's been for Starship. I mean, shoot, this Block 2, and ever since January, and I know it's like, I'm not trying to discredit the team. I know everyone's working their hardest, but unfortunately, it just has been such a string of bad luck.
Yeah. You know, the other thing that's really disappointing, and I'm sure that the team is not only because of this RUD, but, you know, the tile team that needs to get the data for that critical heat shield, they still can't get the data that they need. They just lost another ship. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know if we want to jump to conclusions of whether it's quality or design or whatever, but it's clear that they need to, you know, kind of like what I said a couple of flights ago, and I got a lot of heat for it, but it may be time to take a step back and really evaluate the entire design from start, you know, from the tip to the bottom and everything in between, and make some hard calls about where they are with the program.
Well, I wanted to share, there was another clip here from Lab Padre, so let's throw this one up. I don't know if there's any sound on this. No, there's
that one is a little bit better. You could see the rupture.
Holy crap. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, and notice there's nothing left of 36.
Whoa.
But watch this one. If you can go slow, you can clearly see the rupture on this one, even better than that first clip. Okay. It's kind of right up in the middle, right there. So I don't know if you can go back a little bit more, and maybe just a tad higher than I was thinking. But yeah,
it's hard to.
You know, I heard some people say it may be a COPV, a carbon overwrap pressure vessel, which is in the top of the nose. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell with this where that rupture began.
Which, by the way, thank you, Chris, for the super chat. Wow, what a bad night for SpaceX. Indeed. Hopefully no one was injured. We don't think so, but again, this is pretty breaking news. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I mean, I know it's late, but this is definitely not just big news for tonight, but as far as the program, it's probably going to be slowed down quite a bit. And also, thank you, Walker, for the super chat. This is just, not something that we want to see. And I guess, we were aiming for June 29th for Flight 10. No way. I mean, it's going to be months. In fact, some people are asking, will we see another launch this year? I think that might be a little dramatic, but what do you think?
It's really hard to tell. I think, as I said, if they relax the time requirements of doing the Mars thing and everything next year, and then come back to really focus on the design, I would think that taking some time, slowing down, really going through the entire design is going to be warranted, and that's going to take a few months. And in addition to that, they've got to repair all of the masses, and that's going to take several months as well.
Wow.
I don't know. I would think that at least, late fall into the early, like maybe October, November would probably be more likely at the very quickest. But yeah, I just think that they need to take a step back and look at the program. And this is just the worst of, almost the worst outcome that could have happened.
I was going to say, when was the last time? Because obviously we've had some of the RUDs with Ship 7 and 8, primarily the big ones. But when was the last time we saw something like this on the ground with Starship?
Probably, I guess you'd call it Ship 4. It was a tank test. They were doing cryogenics over where the orbital launch site is now, but that was back when they had the suborbital place, and that's also where they were doing the tests. And we saw something like this. I think it was Ship 4.
Wow. So it's been quite a while. I mean, again, this is just so unexpected. It's like, what?
Yeah. And as you saw with the video, it was so without any warning, at least what we could see. I don't know if SpaceX with their sensors were detecting something, but it was obviously so fast that nothing could be done.
Yeah, well, Rodney, thank you for another super chat. I wonder if SpaceX has higher rate resolution telemetry on the test stand via cable than in flight, helping to find the cause of this explosion.
Well, I know that they had some cameras around. We've seen the cameras looking up at the engines as they were running. I don't know if they had turned them on yet because they hadn't started the static fire. And occasionally we see a drone flying around, getting the drone images. So I don't know if the drone had gotten there yet or not, because they weren't quite ready to do the static fire. But
well, as Lemon Space points out, and I see some commenters agreeing, I think Artemis is screwed with this, and Isaacman being rejected, which, NASA still has no leader, and who knows how long that's going to take. He was almost there.
Yeah.
And, it's really kind of a crazy year for space so far, and not in a good direction.
Yeah, well, I mean, the SpaceX with the Falcons have been doing pretty well. It's just the Starship
but NASA still not having a leader, all of that uncertainty with the, withdrawal.
Well, there's another aspect of this. This is something that we've kind of talked about before, and it was my feeling that, as NASA has been trying to figure out where they want to go and what their budgets are going to be and their direction and all that, that it may have ended up being SpaceX the one to try to get us to the moon first, but obviously their rocket system to get us to the moon is having some serious problems as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jason, for watching. He says, y'all are amazing for coming on live for us. Huge setback for the program. We both agree. And that's why we're like, hey, do you want to go live? Because this is certainly breaking news. This is not something that is a little deal. This is a huge explosion, as you can see.
I'm just watching some of the off camera, the live feeds, and the fires are still going at Massey's, and it looks like, you know, there's still some tanks that may be filled that may be in danger. So this is going to go on for some time. And, you know, they had just finished putting all the cryogenics into the tanks to get ready for the static fire. So they were all probably full.
Oh, wow. Well, here's a super chat. Thank you. Rodent, no last name. Someone saw there may have been a flap wiggle before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were slowing this down and we were trying to see here, like right. Sorry, it takes me a second. Just gonna go slow. Okay.
Yeah, it's at least with this angle, it's very difficult to see. There may have been a different angle that might show it. Obviously, it's night, so the lighting isn't as good as we would love to see.
We have some more questions going on from the audience. I'm still seeing a lot of comments about sabotage, but Joe, maybe you can explain why this explosion was just so big.
Well, it looks like it happened up in the methane tank, and they had partially put some methane into the tank, but you know, that's cryogenics. But because of the ambient temperature, you're going to get some boil off, and that boil off is going to pressurize that tank. And if there is a rupture in the tank, as soon as that rupture happens, you get any type of spark, any metals, you know, bending or ripping or whatever, you can get a spark with that methane in an oxygen atmosphere. And this is what happens. I mean, the reason why you use methane is because there's a lot of energy within the methane itself. And that's what they use to propel the ship. And that's what the Raptors use. So, you know, this is another reason why when they're doing these tests, they try to limit how much methane they put into the ship, just so that they can make the fireball, like you see here, the explosion, as small as possible. But they were getting ready to do a 60-second static fire, so that means that they had to have a pretty good amount of methane to last that long. And if you remember, the common dome is kind of a bowl shape, so a lot of that methane was sitting down in the bowl. So even though we see a small cryogenic line on the side of the ship, there's a lot more inside that we can't see.
And when do you think we might hear something from SpaceX or see something? They have not posted yet anything. I'm sure that they're.
Well, you know, for a while Elon was doing other stuff, it would take a few days. Now that Elon is kind of posting more, maybe he'll put something out tonight. I don't know, but I think right now their priority is they need to get Massey's under control. It is still not under control. There are fires that are just raging right now all over Massey's.
Right.
And I don't know what type of fire fighting capability that they have out there, whether it's automated or not, or even if they had some, if it would be useful because of the wide scale range of the amount of fires that I see.
Wow. Well, I'm still seeing a lot of comments about sabotage and a lot of comments about we just need to get rid of V2. Just get rid of it, ditch it, move on, which I don't really know is completely possible.
Yeah, well, it's hard. I mean, we're going to have to get the data to find out what exactly happened, but it looks like it was a tank failure. And if it's a tank failure, that may be agnostic of whether or not it's a V2, V3, or anything else. I mean, they are using the same basic design. They have the same welds, the same materials. So I think they're going to have to look at that and figure out, you know, what actually happened. And like I said, some people were saying it might have been a COPV. I don't know. It's hard to tell from this image exactly where the burst emanated from. To me, it looks like it's a little low for COPDs, but again, it's hard to say.
Well, thank you, Llama Mama, for the super chat, and for more people joining. Let me actually share my screen with just Starbase being a trending thing right now. Let me see if this. Okay, so you are seeing it. So this is apparently the explosion from the side of the road.
Yeah, you could see how huge that was.
I mean, it's like white for so long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Watch out for flying objects.
Holy shit.
Sorry, guys, I haven't watched this yet. There's a lot of bad words.
Holy fucking shit.
Okay, I predicted it.
Well, I think they have the reaction we all have.
Yeah.
Looks like everything's going off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you feel the heat?
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the live stuff. The fires at Massey's are still going. It looks like they may be dying down a little, but they're still going.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Holy
Look at all that debris up in the air that got so high that's starting to rain down.
Wow. I just want to play that again. That was, I mean, it's so incredible to me how long this is just white.
Yeah.
You know, white out. Can't see. I mean, this is like in real time. I can't imagine seeing that in person. Oh.
Yeah. And well, you've been to rocket launches, so you know you would have seen it and then several seconds later, then you would have heard it.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
and probably felt it too. That's a pretty big explosion.
Yeah.
The day when they, whoa,
What?
no.
Wow.
Oh my God. Well, you know that this is going to make national news.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
And I'm sure it's not going to have it's going to say Elon's failing.
Yeah. You can actually see part of the ship falling away there near the tanks. If you watch towards the bottom, see it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It looks like there's like two explosions, the burst and then the initial explosion. And then as it mixes with the oxygen tank, as that's burst open, you get another one.
Oh my God. It is just crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, I don't know if we want to belabor this too much. I mean, it's just going to be ongoing for a little while, but I appreciate you having me on. This is a major story. It's a major setback to the Starship program. I'm glad nobody's hurt, but they really need to take a step back and really look at, what is going on with the ship design, what is going on with their logistics here, their infrastructure. And I think that they need to look at their plans and maybe reevaluate them.
Yeah, well, I just want to point out 2 more super chats. Thank you from Shonix. Electronic warfare sabotage can be done and Russia knows about it, which again, we're just on that theme of was this sabotage? We have no indications yet of that. However, a lot of you guys in the comments seem to be suggesting that. And Al, thank you for the very generous super chat. This scale of ship is going to be stretching some limits for sure. Starship is like 30 feet in diameter. It's like a super gulp made from toilet paper. Get out those slide rulers. They're needed. Engineers, get to work. Thanks for the coverage. Yeah, I just feel bad because it's like they've had so many issues recently, like I was saying, with really flights 7, 8, and even 9, although 9 got a little further. And it's like, I'm sure that it's a tough situation for the people who work there. They're trying their hardest. They're really giving their all to the program, and to have these issues, I'm sure is, especially this one. This is like really.
Yeah. Well, I just feel for the team. Their focus is get it under control right now and then figure out where to go. Man, there's no way to try to spin this as they got data or anything. No, this is really bad.
Yeah. Wow. So as we sign off here, how long do you think that it's going to be until flight 10?
Late this year. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that it would be wise to try to let's just get 37 ready to go. I mean, even if Massey's were fine and they could do all the testing, I don't think that would be wise. I think they need to take a step back.
Mm.
Sometimes it's better to go slow to go fast than to try to keep going fast.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. Well, as we get more developing news, of course, I'll keep you guys updated. But thanks for tuning in. This is unfortunate news of the night. Ship 36, RIP, no longer with us. As far as we know, so far, no one has been injured in this massive fireball that you see here. But this is a setback for the Starship program. So as we get more information, I will make another update video. But thanks so much for watching, you guys. And we're all SpaceX fans. It's why you watch my channel. It's why you enjoy my live streams with Joe. And, SpaceX is really good at getting back in the saddle, but this is definitely, a really rough one that they're dealing with tonight. Any final words, Joe?
I just, I feel for the team, but, figure out what's going on and let's keep moving forward.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I'll be putting out a recorded video of this, and we'll see what else we learn about it. Have a good night.